Filipinos around the globe are joined by some foreign nationals in a one-day worldwide protest against China's intrusions in the West Philippine Sea. Protesters clarify the rally is not to stoke the fire between Manila and Beijing, but to peacefully raise awareness about China's unlawful claims to Philippine territory. More on that story from Carol Ramoran.
Nia Nguyen is a Vietnamese national who has been studying political science in the Philippines for over a year now. He was at the protest outside the Chinese consular office in Makati, organized by the West Philippine Sea Coalition, calling out to China to stop bullying other nations.
I also learned a lot from newspaper about the problem in South China Sea, and this is our initiative to do this one, to cooperate, two of us, to fight for our rights in the sea. And also we are also inspired by Filipino people here, because we can see all of them. They are very enthusiastic and very happy to be here to fight for the right of their country.
Nguyen says a lot of people back in his home country wish to hold protests to raise awareness on territorial disputes in the South China Sea, but communist laws are draconian. That's why Nguyen started a proposal letter for the Philippines and Vietnam to work together in achieving their common goal. He will send a letter signed by Filipinos and Vietnamese living here to opposition newspapers in Vietnam to drum up awareness in his own country. A global protest against China's apparent bullying in the South China Sea kicked off today as Filipinos all over the world marched and delivered their messages to Beijing in different ways.
But we also come here in peace. We want to convey to the people of China, to begin with, that this is not about them. This is about their government, the policy of their government of intrusion, occupation, and threats of war against a small country like the Philippines.
Alunan expects today's protest to set off a snowball effect.
What's important is that Filipinos from different walks of life, wherever they are beginning to take cognizance of the problem and taking leadership wherever they are to rise up in protest.
China's intrusions, considered by many a creeping invasion, has been going on for years. The disputed mischief reef has been a target.
Yan ang sabi ng Chinese government, don't worry, these are only temporary shelters for our fishermen. Naloko ang gobyerno natin nun. Kaya tumahimik tayo, sabi na, sige, pagbigyan. After about 3-4 years, ito ang bumulaga sa atin. Ito na ang kanilang ginawa. Temporary ba naman yan?
Goles says there should not be another mischief reef. He says Filipinos should stand their ground over what is rightfully theirs and tell China to get out of Philippine territory, particularly Bajo de Masinloc and Ayungin Shoal. Though the protest was peaceful and towed the government line, Malacanang was quick to disavow the global action.
All the actions taken by the individual citizens wherever they are found, whether here or abroad, these are the actions taken by the Filipinos in how they view the situation.
Alunan said global protests aim to raise awareness and should not add fuel to the fire in the spat between the Philippines and China. The Chinese consular office closed its doors today, citing security risks.
I hope the Chinese consulate's closing of its offices today for the first time sa pagkilos namin sa harap nila ay hindi tanda ng pagsara din nila ng kanilang tenga sa panawagan ng mga ordinaryong mamamayan.
Alunan says the public should expect more from their movement as the situation in the South China and West Philippine Seas are important not just to Filipinos but to the international community. China claims the whole South China Sea through its 9-line claim, including the West Philippine Sea, the body of water within the Philippines' 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zone. The disputed Spratly Islands on the West Philippine Sea is being claimed in part by the Philippines, Brunei, and Malaysia, and is claimed in whole by China, Vietnam, and Taiwan. Other disputed areas in the South China Sea are the Macclesfield Bank and the Paracels, all of which have been put by China under a prefectural-level administrative city called Sansha. Carol Ramoran, Solar News.
Canned milk manufacturers battle it out in creating formulas with the highest level of nutrients for infants and children. While infant formulas may be good enough, breast milk will always be best. Tonight, Iza Abeja of Beauty, Brains, and Breastfeeding joins us to discuss the benefits of breastfeeding, not only for children, but also for mothers. Good evening, Iza. Welcome to Solar Night News.
Mitzi, Hillary, thank you for having me.
We love having you here. Tell us about your experience in breastfeeding. Why do you believe in it so much?
I breastfed both my kids. They're now one is almost 10. Joaquin, hi, he's watching. And one is almost 7, Amina. Hi, also. They're both very bright. They're empathic kids. Science supports that. The breastfed babies are more, they have higher emotional quotient, higher intelligence. They have nice teeth, you know. They're healthier. They're unlikely to be obese into adulthood. So the benefits of breastfeeding is it translates, you know, into adulthood.
And for the mothers
and
too,
for the mother
course,
too.
Yeah.
If you have history of cancer in your family, it decreases 50% of the risk of having cancer, so it's not such a bad thing.
Breast cancer, reproductive
yes,
cancer.
reproductive cancers and breast cancer. Yeah.
Well, and you lose weight.
So you
And
burn
you lose
500
weight.
calories, isn't it?
Yes.
Is it per breastfeeding session?
Yes, 800 to over 1,000 a day.
That's right.
So
Who needs the gym?
yes, who needs the
You
gym?
can burn it through there.
Breastfeed.
When I started breastfeeding, it was difficult. It has, of course, its challenges. I was just saying to myself, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to lose weight. So I have to
motivation.
breastfeed.
So what's ahead, but congratulations on all the good work.
Okay, thank you,
Good
Mitzi.
luck.
Thank you,
See you on the
Hillary.
18th.
Thank you
Yes,
again.
okay.
Thank you very
I
much.
hope to see you there.
Let's see if we can wake up early
Yeah.
for that. Well, thank you very much, Iza Abeja of Beauty, Brains, and Breastfeeding.
The Marines are busy retraining in the Balikatan exercises. After all, they are on the front lines of the country's territorial standoff with China. On the civilian front, cause-oriented groups are planning to stage a protest before the Chinese embassy, if not to change Beijing's mind, then at least to drum up support for the cause of smaller nations locked in territorial disputes with the emerging superpower. David Santos reports.
Among hundreds of Filipino troops taking part in this year's Balikatan War Games are scores of Philippine Marines. They are currently retraining at the Marine Corps Training Center. These Marines are no ordinary soldiers. Chances are they could be among those who will be stationed in the West Philippine Sea. A small group of Marines, for one, is guarding the BRP Sierra Madre, which run aground the disputed Ayungin Shoal.
Our men are ready for any contingencies that might come, ready to give their lives. And what is important is they can perform their duty. They are ready to at least delay, or if not repel the enemy, at least delay and give warning to the mainland.
A retired Chinese military official has suggested that Beijing take over Ayungin Shoal to pressure the Philippines to free 11 Chinese fishermen detained for poaching sea turtles near Palawan. Former National Security Advisor Roy Logoles is playing down this comment, especially since it came from someone perceived to be a propagandist from China. Still, Goles would rather keep an eye on Beijing's movements in and around Ayungin.
That will fall under the MDT because the Sierra Madre is still a Philippine Navy ship. And therefore, it will fall under the Mutual Defense Treaty, and the 8 or 9 Marines there are part of the armed forces. An attack on them will be considered an attack that would fall under the MDT.
Cause-oriented groups led by Filipino-American philanthropist Loida Nicolas Luis on Wednesday appealed for public support for another round of anti-China protests this week.
We sing the national anthem every day. Sa manlulupig, di ka pa sisiil. Eto na tayo, sinisiil na tayo. So, we should not stand back. Join us in the rally on Friday at noontime.
Lewis appeals for support for Vietnam, which, just like the Philippines, is struggling to deal with China's aggression. Hanoi is denouncing China's move to set up a giant oil rig in a contested territory. The group is planning to hold an indignation rally before the Chinese embassy in Makati at Friday noon.
The reason why we're holding this rally is in a way to shame China. That's why we have very, very strong words here, because everybody knows what Hitler did to Europe.
The reason why we have to be one with this is not only because we consider the Vietnamese our brothers, but because we are also likewise threatened. If they're going to succeed here, the next step, I'm very sure of that, is going to be within our exclusive economic zone.
Long Trinh Hu recalls how the Philippines welcomed thousands of refugees following the Vietnam War in the late 1970s and will be forever grateful to Filipinos. Filipino-American lawyer Ted Laguatan says Manila cannot turn its back on Vietnam now.
Could be helpful for Vietnam if we can stand together against the Chinese aggressive and to ask the Chinese government to remove the oil rig from Vietnam's water.
And so we urge the Chinese people to pressure their government to remove this oil rig from the waters of Vietnam, which is within the 200-mile exclusive military zone of Vietnam.
The group admits protests may do little to sway China, but they do hope the world will listen and share their views to put a stop to China's aggression. David Santos, Solar News.